Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert, Judy Copenbarger. How are you, Judy?
I am absolutely fine. I love this time of year. How are you doing this fine Tuesday morning?
I am doing fantastic. I always love our show. I love the fact that we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. And I love the fact that you're very decorative out there, very Christmassy out where you're at.
We got our tree up. Yeah, we got our blankets out and our stockings are hung by the chimney with care. So we're ready to go.
Awesome, folks. And if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure you follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today for all of her social media links and all of that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays. The holidays is a time for giving, but that doesn't mean that you have to spend a fortune to show your love and appreciation to folks, right? So in this episode, we're going to focus on smart gift giving on the B word on a budget. So what do you say we get started? There's a lot to cover for sure.
Can I just ask you one thing? Can we call it a spending plan instead of a budget? A budget sounds so restrictive.
That's right. Spending plan from this day forward. You heard it. We will be calling it a spending plan. Love
Spending
it.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It flows better too. It's less. You're right. Less restrictive.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of
Uh,
like diet. It's what you can't have. It's not what you're eating. It's what you can't have. And
right.
we don't want to talk about the D word either this time of year for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. For sure. So we got to
Awesome.
come up with the word for that too. So we have to think about that one too. Uh, so let me start off with the question right off the bat. So why is gift giving often one of the biggest holiday expenses?
I think it's the emotional connection to gifts. We remember when we were little and we opened that perfect gift that one Christmas where I got the thing that I wanted. I got the wagon or the dolly or the slingshot, whatever it was. Um, just really great for most people, not everyone, but for most people, really great memories associated with at least one Christmas where you got that thing. Or somebody that you gave a gift to received that thing and it was like, bam. But it's that emotional connection, I think. It's part of that tradition. It's part of that. Um, remember when it was so great and it was so magical when you're a kid. We were talking about this the other day with our adult children. It's not so magical anymore. And I know that it's for kids, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think, there's also the negative side of why people maybe overspend at Christmas gift wise. There's the sibling thing, it's like, well, I gave mom the better gift. No, I gave mom the better gift. And trying to outdo each other. Sometimes it happens when you get the in-laws, later in life, you get the in-laws. Pride, I gave the best gift. I spent the most money. I must love you the most, and it doesn't mean if a monetary gift has a high value, it doesn't mean it has a high emotional value. The price tag doesn't equal love. And I think sometimes without thinking about it, it's kind of easy to kind of get that way. You see the commercials, with advertisers all around us that connect us with the value that you spend with their company equals how much you love your family or your spouse or your kids, right? So there's a lot of that out there, but I think it's easy to overspend for all those reasons. We bring all that stuff into the holidays. It's all there.
And you know what? What's funny too that this also applies to outside of family, right? So, for example, some of the
Mhm.
things that I always see that people struggle with is an office setting, right? So, a coworker gives you a gift, and then it's that feeling of obligation. Well, I have to go get them a gift, and 9 out of 10 times you really don't know what you got, but you end up overspending anyway because you don't want to look cheap. So it
Yeah.
creates just this whole,
You don't want
uh,
to look cheap, right? That's
yeah,
a little pride, right? Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so it makes it's funny how it just changes things around, right? And the more people give you, and even now we've had friends where we just say, hey man, this, we all made a pact, no gifts, no anything, let's just enjoy each other's company. And sometimes, although it's a hard conversation to have with folks, because again, you don't want to sound cheap, you don't want to be that couple or that guy that just doesn't want to give out because people think you're a Grinch or whatever, on them.
Yeah.
So that makes it very difficult for sure.
Yeah. That's part of it for sure.
So, how can listeners rethink this whole approach to gift giving to focus basically on meaning rather than cost?
It really is about the meaning rather than the cost and all that. I would say being proactive rather than reactive, thinking about what do I want the outcome to be? What consider the outcome. I want connection. I want transparency. I want joy. I want tradition, whatever those things are that are meaningful to you around the holidays. Going for that proactively, not being reactive, like, shoot, I got to go run to the mall and get something. And let's grab something from one of those people out in the middle of the mall in those little boutique,
Mhm.
those little kiosks, because it's
Yeah.
quick and easy, and it's already wrapped. Well, that doesn't have a whole lot of meaning to it. It satisfies the checkbox, but it doesn't have a lot of meaning to it. And are they going to use it anyway? Maybe, if it's practical, maybe. But why gift things that are going to be regifted just to check the box? It doesn't make sense to me. I've done it. Not in the last number of years, but I've done it. Check the box, got the gift, here's the list, the whole thing. And you kind of forget what it's all about. It's all about the checkbox and who got what and how many boxes are under the tree for you. But that autopilot, this is what we've always done. This is how we've always done it. What if you rethink that and let people in your world know, I'm rethinking Christmas, right? Gifts are
Mhm.
going to be a little bit different now. They're going to be a little more from the heart, a little less costly. Some families actually do this by default. When all the kids grow up and now there's grandkids, it's like you used to buy a gift for everybody. Well, now you can't. Now there's in-laws and outlaws and everybody and their kids and the nieces and the nephews and then the ones that they married and now the kids come with the marriage. There's
Mhm.
all these people. It becomes cost prohibitive to even have a holiday that you gather for.
Yeah.
And so some families will do something a little more creative. We can talk about in a few minutes, how to keep that cost down so you're not buying a $20, $30, $50 gift for everybody in the room, which might be a very large room, right? So there's all
Yeah.
kinds of ways to do it for sure.
Something that just you reminded me of too. So I've seen, there's always the cartoons, there's always the memes related to spending and all that good stuff. And there's one I just recently saw that really just made me laugh out loud, which was, this year for Christmas, you're getting the best gift possible. You're getting my friendship renewed again. So
Oh,
there
I
you
love
go for your
that.
Christmas. Dinner.
I love
So
that.
you made the list, and that was like the little check mark. I just found it was just funny, but it's true. Like something as simple as that is has a lot of value, especially if it's a friendship that you've cultivated, just long-term friendships, lifetime friendships that are just there's no price tag to it,
I
for sure.
love that. My gift to you is that I commit to be one more year a great friend for you. I'll be here for you. What a
That's
great
it.
thing, right? What a
Yeah,
great thing. Yeah. Didn't cost anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let think back now, and I'm going to ask you about your personal philosophy on holiday gift giving, and how do you stay on a spending plan?
Hmm. Well, I don't like overspending. I'm such a practical person and I'm such a conservative person, money wise. I guess I kind of grew up, with parents that went through the depression. So there's always been that. Don't waste, be careful. When you spend, it's purposeful, that kind of thing. So that was a gift that I was given as a kid growing up that way. But I think for other people, if you just plan ahead, and it's easy for me to say I'm a planner, right? But plan ahead, think about what the purpose of the gifting is. It's about creating a memory, maybe an experience, the connection, if it's something you're giving that you connect together. I think of those bracelets where you have part and your best friend has part, or those
Right, right.
necklaces where the husband wears half and the wife wears half. It's kind of a connection, right? And traditions, I think, is a big thing. It's like that's how we always did it. That's how my husband's family did it. My wife's family did it. We're bringing all that in. Why not create new ones that don't have to be expensive? Create new ones, get together and make cookies. That's an old tradition. I think it should come back. And I was looking the other day at cake mixes. They used to have cake mixes where you'd make a big old cake. You take it to the church event, and it's a big old cake and you cut it and there's like enough for 20 people. They don't even have those anymore. So I think
Yeah,
people aren't gathering and making big cakes anymore, is what I think it is. I don't think it's about inflation and the boxes are shrinking. I think there's just not a market for large shared bakery items. And that's kind of
yeah,
sad, but you can do it from scratch, right? There's so many things you can do. But why not create some new traditions for the holidays? Just think about, what is it that I want as an outcome, virtue wise, value wise, right? What do we want that to be? What would bring that here? Do we start taking walks together? Do we start having scavenger hunts? Take the littles out and see how many bugs you can find or sticks you can find that are different colors. Is it a tradition that we can do that gets our bodies moving, gets us outside, gets us connected without being around, the table and the turkey and all the presents? What more can we do? Maybe it's about service. There are a lot of people this time of year that it's not a happy time, and maybe they're not going through a good time. What about serving? I think the other day I saw a quote, actually, my son put up on one of his websites, and it was about the people that get the most juice out of life are the people who are serving. It's like the other side of service is where joy comes from. And I think that's so true. The happiest people I know are givers, and not just of money, not just of stuff, of their time. Find a family that you can decorate a tree for. Find a family that you can help, take some cans out of your pantry and, go to the toy drive or the canned food drive. Things like that, involving your family in that's really what Christmas is about to me. Gathering and helping people. So I think, maybe a new tradition is in order for your family. Just think about it, rethink it, get outside of the box, outside of how we've always done it. And what could we do to make Christmas time, the holiday time? There's a lot of holidays right now, and we've got a lot of birthdays at our house this month. But how do we make it just more enhanced, more meaningful, and more memorable?
Yeah, and it's something you hit on too is the fact that we've forgotten how to get back to the basics, right? Over the years, just the little simple gestures, like you said, cake sharing. I mean, baking cookies and giving that to your neighbors. Just simple things that they have a lot of meaning, they go a long way, but yet we take them for granted. Like we don't even think about that anymore, right? It's everything is just spend
I
this, that, like you said, the checkbox, 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 and we're done.
I love it. And food is so neat. Yesterday afternoon, a sweet couple, good friends of ours and clients of ours, came to the door and they said, "Have you eaten yet?" It's like, "No." I'm like, "Are we going out to dinner? What are we doing?" And they brought us this amazing pack of pulled pork that they did on the smoker all weekend.
Wow.
Homemade sauces, the bread to make it. So it was all there. And then they had juiced their passion fruit. So a whole big pitcher of fresh
Wow.
passion fruit juice, which we love. Are you kidding me?
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's all I need for Christmas. And that checked the box, right? For them being a good friend to us, for the whole next year. It's like, okay, I'm in, right? And
Yeah.
so things like that, it didn't cost them a lot. It was just extra from what they had already prepared. And it was wonderful. And boy, the timing was good too, right before dinner time. So
That's
things like
awesome.
that, it doesn't have to cost a lot, but it really means a lot.
All right, folks, if you are just joining us, welcome. Make sure you watch the beginning of the show today. And if you're not following Judy, do so at judycopenbarger.today. Today, we're talking about smart giving on a spending plan, right? So make sure that you tune in, like I said, to the beginning of the show so you can hear some of the great things we talked about, like gift giving. Why is it a big expense, and how we can do it on a better spending plan that we currently are, and looking outside the box, basically, right? So we've talked a little bit about some of the things that we encounter, but let's talk a little bit about some creative, spending friendly gift ideas that still feel very personal, right? And they make someone very feel very special as well too.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember those coupon books we made as kids? Good for one
Yes,
free shoulder rub, good for one free,
yes,
floor mopping, good for one free trip to the store, whatever. Why not get back to that? The idea of that doesn't have to be the cheesy little, it could be the cheesy little coupons, but just, you know what? I'm going to have a movie night and I'm going to take care of everything. You just come enjoy the movie. We'll take the kids, whatever it is, have a movie. I'll have the popcorn. I'll have the sodas, everything ready to go. And you just have a nice movie night. Wow. Didn't cost anything, right? I mean, you can go out and buy the tickets at the movies, which I think is kind of not really a good deal
great, yeah,
anymore. But why not make a movie night at home and make it special? Why not have a tea party? If you got littles and you got girls or ladies that love to just do the fancy, the pinky up thing, why not decorate your living room with what you could do is pull out, I did this years ago, pull out those awnings that you take to the soccer fields that kind of give you shade in the summertime.
yeah,
Pull out one of those, lace it up, get it all fancy, put a table in there with all the tablecloths and all the teacups and the whole thing, and have a tea party. Why not host a tea party in your living room or your backyard? Why? And just the thought that you put into it, the time that you put into it doesn't cost anything. And it
right.
gives you a chance to use your china anyway. That usually is getting dusty, right? But do something like that. And then guys have their version of all those things they like to do, right? So why not think of something that you can do to get the experience, probably a better memory than just going to a tea house, for example. but a better memory and the thought that went into that, and the photos you have, all of that stuff. Why not? Less money, more value.
That's true. And again, it's going thinking outside the box, going back to the basics. And I love the fact that you're sharing all of these uh, opportunities or things for us to do something different that we haven't thought of. And something as simple, like you said, like a tea party or anything else that comes up for that matter.
Well, for guys, maybe it's not a whole round of golf at, the fancy golf course, but you just say, hey, let's go hit some balls. Go hit some balls and hit the nice coffee shop. It's maybe a $10 or $20 day, and you had a great time. So, and it's the connection, right? So it was a golf day, but without, the price tag. Things like that. Why not?
This is such a great subject, and I feel like we may have to do another episode on this because we're going to run out of time. I know we are. But I'm going to try to sneak in one more question before we get to the end of the show. And then tell us, how can listeners take advantage of like sales, discounts without really overspending?
Oh, well, don't shop. After Halloween, don't shop for Christmas. Everything is 2 or 3 times the cost. They say it's on sale, but they jacked it up 40% to give you a 10% deal. It's not a good time to shop. The best time to shop is really after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, which many years we've done. I'm not really a big shopper, but we would get the whole family together, go out, have breakfast or make breakfast, and then go out and do like the Target run or the mall run. And everybody get the jackets, the underwear, the shampoos, the vitamins, whatever it is you want. Now I know they got what they want. I didn't buy anything that had to be regifted, or taken back. And it doesn't matter. Everything's on sale. It's great. A lot of people don't know this, but January 1st is beginning of inventory. So retail shops that actually have merchandise in them, and there are a few left, right? It's not all online anymore. As long as we have that, they have to pay inventory on what they have in the store. So they would like it to be not very much in January, right? It's less tax for them. So everything gets cleared off. You see all the clearance and a third off, and then it's half off and 75% off after Christmas. That's when you buy Christmas decorations for next year. That's when you buy all those hard goods that aren't going to go bad for next year. That's when you go buy your socks, and that's when you go buy your, whatever it is that you need, the practical stuff. Not now, do it after.
Right.
But again, that's if you're being practical and you're not trying to buy the better gift than somebody else is going to give them, right? So once you get rid of that mentality, or if that's not an issue for you, shop after Christmas. Do it together. Why not?
Yeah, no, that's a great point too. And like I said, folks, we may have to extend these episodes for next week as well too, because like I said, I've got like a million questions that I want to ask about this. But I know we're coming at the end of the show, and you know what that means, folks. Hey, all of our challenges are great, but it's our Money Truth Challenge, and I can't wait to hear this one specifically.
Well, this is a challenge about creativity. So pen and paper, right? Write down 3 things that you can do that is a brand new tradition, something you've never thought about doing it that way before. Maybe you got inspired today, or you've heard something recently online or whatever. It's like, why don't we try that at our house? But it doesn't happen unless you write it down and make it happen, right? And then there's value to your words, speaking it, share the idea with somebody out loud. Then it becomes a reality. So 3 things that you can do to create a brand new family tradition that doesn't have a big price tag to it at your house this Christmas. That's your challenge.
All right, folks, and we definitely want to hear all about it. Like I said, we will probably continue this episode for next week as well, because there's a lot of ground to cover. If you're just joining us now, you have to listen to the beginning of the show, because we did talk about smart gift giving on a spending plan. So that's our new word for today, spending plan, folks. Keep that in mind. And remember that we are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. with the replays on Thursday at 8 p.m. Judy, any final thoughts?
Just enjoy the season, make a new tradition, and celebrate your people.
Awesome. Great words. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care, Judy.
Bye-bye.